1 year after the floods, while waters have receded, traces of destruction among communities in Pakistan are still visible. Rebuilding of lives for many is not over yet. 50 years old Izzat Khatoon is a farmer. All her crops were damaged when she returned home from a temporary shelter.
I'm a sharecropper for a 4 acres land. My husband is physically disabled and our family depends on farming. With floods, all my crops were washed away and I could not even save my cattle. When I returned home after a few months, debt to the landowner increased.
CWSPA reached more than 20,000 women farmers and small business owners through its food security and livelihood program. Izzat is one of them.
I received a voucher with which I bought seeds, small tools, and fertilizers. I cultivated the land and crops turned out well. I have 2 containers of wheat to sell. I also bought a buffalo, which is my saving for the future.
CWSPA is planning to continue its recovery and rehabilitation programs in the districts that we work in. Our recovery plan mainly involves livelihood food security programs, provision of health services, and shelter reconstruction. We also plan to actively advocate for greater support in DRR programming. We do believe that a lot of loss to life and property could be significantly reduced if there's greater awareness and efforts in DRR activities.
Muhammad Rafiq is one of the 2,000 people reached by CWSPA to rehabilitate small business washed away in floods last year.
Due to an accident with electricity, I became physically disabled a couple of years ago. My shop was the only way I could earn my living respectfully. When floods came, unfortunately, my shop was close to the river. When water rose, we could not save anything. We barely managed to save our own lives. I consider myself lucky that CWSPA was working in our village. It is through their help that I received a cash grant of Rs 25,000, which enabled me to set up my own shop. With this money and another amount I borrowed from a friend, I have stabilized myself. Yet, my earning relies mostly on tourism. And after floods, not many tourists are visiting our area.
As part of the initial flood recovery efforts, CWSPA also added a health aspect to its programs. Mobile health units were established around Pakistan, which tackle the cases of waterborne diseases like cholera, malaria, diarrhea, and skin infections.
When floods came, I took refuge on a rooftop for many days. I had stagnant water around my hut. I got sick. I began to feel fever and started vomiting. A doctor's team with a mobile health unit visited our village and gave me medicine, and I recovered.
Destruction of small business in floods added to the ordeals of survivors who are mostly unskilled laborers or farmers. To rehabilitate them, CWSPA set up construction trade training centers where livelihood skills are taught, including masonry, welding, plumbing, carpentry, and electrical work.
My name is Sajjad Khokhar. I am a student at CTTC learning electrical work skills. When floods came, the water in our home was almost 5 feet. With a lot of difficulty, we managed to flee to Karachi. We stayed in an IDP camp for a couple of months. When we returned, our home and belongings were gone. Being a CTTC student is an opportunity for me to progress. There are no training centers in my village. I receive a stipend. At the completion of training, I will receive tools with which I plan to set up my own shop.
The humanitarian crisis in Pakistan is far from over. A year after the floods, you still have a lot of these affected families still trying to go on that first step to recovery. See, we are appealing to the donor community to continue helping Pakistan. The Pakistani people are strong. There's no doubt about that. But having been subjected to one crisis after another, we have to continue helping them to cope with the biggest disaster in Pakistan's history.
For more information, go to cwspa.org.